Okay, hi, I'm Jasmine Banner.
Yeah.
I'm from Santa Elena, Cayo. Right now, I'm an artist. Before, I was a poet, and now I'm an artist. So I'm kind of bounce around to different things until I find my niche. I'm still kind of a poet, but I'm more focusing on painting right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm an artist. Right now, I'm into portraits, and I recently just learned that it's called minimalist painting, the kind of paintings that I do.
Yeah.
And then when I Google what's a minimalist, it's something that it's someone who only deals with like the bare necessities. They don't deal with any extras, like any luxury then. So I found that very interesting, and it's interesting especially during this pandemic because we really learn how to a lot of people learn how to budget,
Hmm.
and they kind of learn how to go use only what they need and not really what they desire. Yeah, right now I'm focusing on minimalist work, and my portraits deal with they don't have eyes, they only have the eyebrows and the mouth. But I think you could still kind of figure out who the person is, and I think that's very interesting because I always say you don't need the full picture to appreciate the picture. You don't need all the details, you don't need all the extra stuff. You just need the bare minimum to appreciate it. And I try to link that with life, that you don't need everything, you just need the bare minimum to appreciate the whole picture. And I kind of apply that to my life
Nice.
and society. So yeah, I'm a Taurus, which the horns. And what happened with this actually, as you can see, it has a lot of gold because I found the gold paint at ENR, and I was like so excited. I'm like, I could do so much with this gold. So I went overboard with the gold.
Mhm.
And yeah, these are my signature puffs. And like I said before, that I was kind of doing the faceless portraits already without kind of knowing. And I think my higher self kind of speaks through my painting because I do things, I don't realize the impact of it until like a couple of weeks afterwards, or maybe a whole year. Because this I did it like a year ago, and now that I look back, I'm like, okay, so I've been doing the faceless faceless portraits. I just didn't know what I was doing at the time. I didn't know the direction. So the more I painted, the more I had a more direct direction.
What does facelessness mean to you?
To me, it just means, well, it means actually a lot of things. That you don't need the whole face to appreciate the picture. I mean, this, not to sound conceited, but this looks pretty good without the eyes and or the mouth, and I think the eyes and the mouth would have taken away from it.
Yeah, it gives a whole air of mystery
Yeah,
to the
and then with
piece.
this, you can't see which emotion. Usually with eyes and the mouth and the nose, they
Hmm.
have, you could tell how the person is feeling from their facial expressions. And with this, I think you can't tell how I'm feeling, and it has to do a bit with privacy. I think in this social media age, everything is splattered online. No one really cares about privacy. We always want to post us on social media, so I guess that ties back to it as well, about privacy and not being showing your emotions all the time.
So literally saving face.
Yeah. So this one, I'm a fan of words. Um, I have most of my tattoos I have consist of words. I don't know if it's the English major in me, or it's just, I know they say actions speak louder than words, but to me words always hold a deeper meaning. So I love words. So this actually came about was I was painting something, and I had extra paint left over, and I didn't want to waste the paint, so I just kind of splashed the paint on the background, and I left it as is. And then I went back and I tried to do little curves. And then the other day I was like, let me do something with this because I need wall decorations for my room. So I found a quote that I really like: "The kingdom of heaven is within you, and whoever shall know thyself shall find it." And basically, it's saying the universe is in us. We're in a universe. We're within a universe, and a universe is within us.
Hmm.
And I think that signifies again a spiral. The spiral is rebirth, resurrection, and death. Everything happens in a cycle.
Yeah. Things can spiral in and spiral out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I actually really like this. And it's not only about putting our faith into the universe and putting our faith into God, but also putting faith into ourselves. So we have to do the work. It's not just like saying an affirmation, which this pretty much is an affirmation because I kind of read it every day. It's not just about reading an affirmation, it's also about doing the action. So you know what you're speaking into existence, you're also working into existence. So it's not just about speaking, it's not just about words, it's about action as well. But first you need the words, you need the thoughts, and then the actions follow. So actions are more important than words, but you need the words to bring out the action. If that makes sense.
It could make complete sense.
Yeah, intention.
And even if you don't speak the words, like the words precede the action, like the thoughts of, you know, what you want to do precede what the hell you do.
The thoughts. Even if you don't speak it out loud, the thoughts are in your head, the voices in your head. So it still comes back to words. This piece was actually very interesting to me because prior to this I was doing research on the moon, and I was researching the moon phases. And then before I knew what, first again it came about, I had extra paint left over and I didn't want to waste the paint. So I just said I always wanted to try a tie-dye spiral, so let me try it. So I did that, and then I was gonna make it like the previous one with just some words. And then I started doing circles, like out of nowhere. I had my protractor and I was just doing circles, and then I'm like, well, let me see. And then like I counted, I think I only did like 6 circles at first. I'm like, let me see how much phases are in the moon. Didn't really think much of it until afterwards. I'm like, this spiral and this moon goes together in a way, because again the moon, it's a cycle, and then the spiral is a cycle. Everything is a cycle, and everything goes back to birth, death, resurrection. Everything happens in a cycle.
Were you born in the daytime?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 2 p.m. I think.
I see. Yeah. That's midday.
So yeah, I'm always like, I always felt attracted to the sun. When the sun is out, I have like so much energy, and I'm like, well, you know, all of us, we have to embrace our dualism. And I can't embrace the sun and not embrace the moon, because they go hand in hand. So I started to embrace the moon, and I started to realize and research, you know, the powerfulness of the moon, and also how the moon goes with our chakras. I think that's how you say it, chakras. I'm like, watch how all these things, you know, intertwine, and they're like this knowledge is right inside of us, but we don't really pay attention until we start. The more I feel, the more you know, the less you realize you know. Like, oh, I thought I knew this. And then when you go and research it, you're like, no, this is completely...
That's a bit freeing, isn't it? To like not have to know everything, to realize that it's pretty much all bullshit.
Yeah.
And
also everything you knew or thought you knew is actually, they have a deeper meaning, and everything has a deeper meaning. And it's also about perspective, because how we're reading history is not really...
It's not authentic.
Yeah, it's one person's perspective. Example, I could think of the Mayans. The Mayans had written word.
Egyptians definitely did.
The Spaniards just burnt it, and I think that's what happened with, well, I know that's what happened with a lot of our history. They burned our history. They erased us completely from history, so it's hard to know exactly where we come from. But in this technological age, we can't really blame it on ignorance, because everything's at our fingertips. So if we want to know something, we could research it. We're choosing to still be asleep then, rather than awakening ourselves and our higher selves. And it all goes back to history. And it's important to know history, so we know that, you know, everything that's happening, it's not new. It's happened before, and it will keep happening until we learn that this happened so much years ago, and we're still doing the same thing over and over, and we're expecting different results. And I think that statement could go to our government, to the world as is.
It's like the spiral. It's like the spiral.
Everything is happening, and if you pay attention to the spiral, we know what's coming and what to do, what to prepare for, and what to prevent. And everything goes back to the spiral. Everything's a cycle. Nothing in this world is new. No idea is new. It's just somebody else's time to pounce on the idea. So nothing in this world is new. It's just new ways on how to utilize what's already been there.
In your own individual perspective, which that's new. Like the angle of what you like look at all the stuff that's already been here.
Yeah, the stuff has already been here. It's
Yeah,
just what we
but-
do with it.
Yeah.
That's what makes us different from everybody else.
Yeah.
Because what I interpret from something, you might interpret something else, and I think that goes back to my faceless
Yeah.
portraits.
Yeah, definitely.
That, you know, it's us to interpret our own thing. We can't expect somebody to give us all the information, and we ourselves, we can't give everybody the information and expect them to digest it the way we digest it, because it's all about our differences and, you know, coming together. We also have to unite, but we have to also respect each other's differences. So-
Boundaries.
Yeah, I think that all of this kind of it
Comes back.
clicks.
Yeah, it all comes together really nicely.
And it's funny to me how I start realizing these things, and I start making these connections
Between your own
after
art, yeah.
till I actually
Yeah.
started painting. And
Yeah.
I encourage anyone, you know, if you're someone who lives inside of your head, find a hobby that makes you release your creativity. Find something that makes you get outside of your head, and you start realizing things not only about yourself, but you start realizing things about nature, about the universe. And it also goes back to my other quote, you know, the kingdom of heaven is within us,
Within
and
you.
whoever knows thyself, thou shall find it. So, you know, all these pieces go together that I didn't know about until recently.
Hey, believe it! Did you like that?